If you want to succeed in the music industry, things have changed. Hi, it's Will from EDM Tips, and today I want to share with you 10 steps that, if followed, will drastically increase your chances of success in the music industry in 2020. Now, some of my students have already put these steps into action and have achieved some pretty cool things like hitting #2 in the Beatport charts, making money from their music, and even becoming full-time music producers. So these steps will work for you if you put them into action. Now, a quick heads up, step 10 is the most important, and if you stick around till then, I have a free gift for you as well that is going to help you smash your music goals in 2020. So step 1 is define your expectations. If you don't know what success is going to look like for you, how can you possibly know if you've hit it or not? Now, I know people who have sold millions of records and play gigs around the world, and they are still not happy, and the reason is they haven't defined what success is. So if you decide that you want to be a music producer and that you want to make a living from music, and a living for you would be $30,000 a year, then that is a very easily quantifiable measure of success. And if you don't do that, you run the risk of being dissatisfied however much you achieve in the industry. So having a clear, well-defined measure of your success is going to help you A, know when you hit it, and B, help you with step 2. So step 2 is simply working out what you have to do to achieve that goal. Who do you have to be? What kind of music will you have to make? And the more specific and the clearer you are about your goal in step 1, the easier this is going to be. For example, if you know that success for you would be releasing a piece of music on Armada Music, for instance, then you would listen to the music on Armada, you would kind of get to know the people on the label, reach out to them on social media, and then you know the kind of music that you need to make, you know the kind of image that you need your brands to have, and this is going to help you reach those steps, reach those benchmarks along the way to hit that goal. But you're going to run into problems, and that's what number 3 is about. Number 3 is you have to create a really strong why. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. You have to love it, because you are going to knock up against these difficulties along the way. You're going to get people not liking your music. You're going to get disheartened. You might just get down. You might need to go and do an extra job to earn some money. You know, you might lose a relationship. Whatever it is, you're going to come up against difficulties. So you need a strong why to help you get through and follow your plan to hit your goal. Also, your passion, your drive, and your focus is what people will latch onto. If they see that you're passionate about what you're doing, they will buy into your brand, they will listen to your music because you're passionate about it. And if you don't have that passion, you're simply not going to succeed. So 4 is build a brand. Now, the days when you could just send music to a record label and they'd sign you and then they do all the work for you, those days are well and truly gone. People need to see that you have a following already. It proves that you have drive and determination, because it's not easy to build a following. So yes, when you go to a label, you could argue that, well, that's their job to build a following, but there's such a lot of music out there nowadays, such a lot of people wanting to make it. Make it easy for these labels to say yes to you. Basically, if you can build a following, build a brand, and then if you want to self-release, you can, because you've got a following and you don't need that many. If you ever read 1,000 True Fans, which I shall link to here somewhere, just read that, it's really worth it. And it shows that you don't need to have many fans to make a living from your music, if that is indeed what you define as success in 2020. And before we continue, drop me a comment below. What is it that you would really deem success in your music for 2020? I really want to know. I will reply to all the comments, so drop that comment below and let's start a discussion on the channel. Okay, number 5. Focus on one label. If you want to release music on a label, just focus on that one label. Don't shotgun around different ideas to different labels, because you're just going to be diluting your focus, diluting your energy, and diluting your efforts. If you can build a relationship with people on that label already by reaching out to them, listening to their music, liking it, sharing it, then when you do come to them with your own music, they're going to be much more receptive. Don't just send a piece of music to someone completely cold, because they won't listen to it. That's not the way to get ahead. Now, I've actually made a video on how you can get signed to any label, which I will link to right there. So check that out after this video. Number 6, and this is kind of obvious, but you need to improve. You need to be constantly improving, and don't compare yourself to other people too much. Just be better than you were yesterday. I think the Japanese call this something like kaizen, this method, but it involves listening to your music, getting feedback, and working out how you can improve with each and every music project that you do. Number 7 is capture your inspiration. There are so many great tools for this nowadays. You can just use the voice recorder on your iPhone, When you get an idea that comes into your head, just sing it in there. You know, I get them sometimes when I'm about to fall asleep. Then when you come into the studio, you can put that idea into practice. Also, listen to lots of different music that you wouldn't usually listen to, and you're going to get inspiration from all these different sources. And that is integral to your success, because you need to have something that sounds original but is also accessible. Number 8, learn from failure. And this is essential because there is no success without failure. If you get stuck, if you get stopped, if you've done something that you don't like and you've got haters, and the thing is, the more of an audience you build, the more haters you're going to get. If you can't pick out the wheat from the chaff and listen to useful criticism from the people that matter and discard all the rubbish from the people who just sit in their mum's basement and don't do anything, they just throw shade on the internet. You need to be able to do that, take that on board, grow as a person, get better and learn from your failures. You know, I did a remix for a prominent singer a few years ago, and her manager thought that I had copied a Madonna song, something like that, and I hadn't even heard this Madonna song. It was just a coincidence that it sounded like it. I kind of responded badly to that criticism and kind of killed the relationship, really. Now, if that happened again, I'd kind of consider it. I'd listen to the Madonna song and I'd say, okay, well, it's a coincidence, but I see what he means, so I kind of go back and adapt that. So don't make the same mistake I made. Number 9 is let the music write itself. Now, I actually got this from an interview I saw with Michael Jackson, but it makes complete sense. If you come up with an idea quickly in a studio session and it moves you, the faster that you can work on that idea and get it finished, the more magic it's going to have. If you sit down and you just try and design a piece of music from scratch, the chances are that the one that came in a flash of inspiration that just kind of descended upon you almost is going to be infinitely better than the one you've kind of tried to construct using cookie cutter techniques. So let the music write itself as much as you can, and the more you listen to music and the more you practice, the more that music will just write itself, because you've got a bigger understanding of what works and what doesn't. And step 10, if you want to succeed in your music career in 2020, step 10 is the most important. Now, none of these other steps will count for anything if you don't do this. You have to be able to write really, really good music. Now, it doesn't have to be the best music in the world, but it has to be the best music that you can write if you want to get it out into the market, and it has to be comparable in quality to the other music that is already out there. But don't despair. How do you do that? There are ways to shortcut it. You can take courses, you can get a mentor, you can join a supportive community, you can do all these things, but remember, the most important is to produce regularly, build it into your schedule, produce several hours a week, every week, build it in, do it, practice often, take courses, join a community, get a mentor, all of these things. You can check those out at edmtips.com, but your main success factor will be making good music. So now you know the basic steps you can take for music career success in 2020. You can download my free music success guide below this video, and it will help you smash your music goals in 2020. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel wherever it is. And until next time, cheers and happy producing. You can check out my video below to see how you can get signed to any label. I know I've used this technique myself. And until next time, cheers and happy producing.